Greetings, this is Stasia Bliss, Kundalini Queen. In this episode, we're going to talk about some of the symptoms of the awakening process. And I want to thank the many of you who have reached out and shared with me some of the processes that you are in to help me answer those questions here on this video. So first of all, I want to just kind of really simply outline what exactly happens when we have a Kundalini awakening. Because we're kind of like just dooting along, like having our regular life experience with our mentality the way that it is, and then something occurs. Now it can seem like a profound thing, or maybe not. Maybe it sneaks up on you. It might be experimenting with some kind of plant medicine. It might be a near-death experience. It might just simply be a dream. It might be a relationship that puts you into a particular situation. But at this day and age, at this time that we are in, Kundalini awakening is just becoming commonplace. So you maybe didn't do anything. Like maybe suddenly you are just having really strange experiences and it's making you feel anxious, or it's making you feel panicky, or you're oscillating suddenly between one way of thinking and another, and it's making you feel kind of crazy. That's totally normal. Kind of move a little bit so I can sit in the sun. So Kundalini, the energy, is stored at the base of the spine. And as Kundalini is stimulated to awaken, it's just like a princess who's been asleep a really long time. And she at first starts to wake up and she just like stretches up through your chakras, and you might have this like profound third eye experience. You might have like a vision or an epiphany or something where you're like, wait a minute about your life. And then Kundalini will like go back to sleep. She's like, oh yeah, that's right, I want to wake up. Oh, but that was such a good dream that I was in. And she goes back to sleep. But on the way down, this energy has made it to these valves, these centers of our body, and it's started to shake them awake. And each center is responsible for different ideas, different beliefs, concepts, the way we think about money, the way we think about people, our body, ourself, if we're holding on or if we're trusting. And so as Kundalini penetrates these centers, it's like shaking loose some old like cement, and it begins to crumble. And those old beliefs and old ways start showing themselves in our life. And we could even have body symptoms. When the first chakra is awakening, we might feel symptoms that are associated with our pelvis. Could be hemorrhoids, could be varicosities in our legs, could be digestive stuff like problems with elimination. There could be anything related to or around the chakra that is being purified. So when we know this, then we can do some little exercises to help. Exercises that help the root chakra is a simple Mula Bandha lock or Kegel muscle, where you're just contracting and releasing the pelvic floor to allow this feeling of relaxation, this letting go feeling to come in. And when we do this simple exercise, that helps the energy move through that root chakra a little bit easier, and then it can flow again in the spine. So again, when Kundalini, she's gonna awaken again. She's the serpent, she's the life force. She's going to again now, since she's already taken one pathway up to the pineal gland, she's gonna start waking up more and more. And she's gonna go, yeah, actually I'm supposed to be fully functioning in this body. I'm a divine being, I'm supposed to be activating the whole system. So she's gonna start again to rise. So the very most important thing I can give as a suggestion when you're starting this process, or when you're in early stages of Kundalini awakening, is to practice third eye gazing, Shambhavi Mudra. You want to take awareness to the third eye, to the pineal gland. With eyes closed, you can turn awareness there. You can practice gazing at a candle flame that's at your third eye center. Anything that can bring attention, awareness to that psychic center is going to really help this process because of this. when you're opening and cleansing out all these psychic centers, when Kundalini again starts opening the lotus blossoms that are your first, second, third, fourth, fifth chakra, sixth chakra, if you don't have a third eye that's awakened, and this witness attitude that is cultivated by having it open, then you become attached to the dramas and traumas that are trying to clear themselves out of these centers. So, an example, one of the most challenging chakras to clear out is our second chakra. And that is because it is related to our ancestry, to our karma from our family line. It connects us actually to the lineage of all of life. And it is also our sexual center. So all of the traumas that could have or would have ever been existing in association with any birth traumas, any sexual traumas, any ancestral traumas, any of that is going to surface as that chakra opens. So if our third eye is not open, if we can't see from the observer point of view and know that's what's happening, it's literally like the eye that turns down and can look at the process and be like, I see what's happening. I've got my eye single. I'm looking down with one eye. And I'm peering at this awakening. And I'm observing it happening. If we can't do that, if we don't have the third eye open, then when that stuff starts purging, it's going to feel really scary. And this is actually what's been termed the dark night of the soul. It's because when we get into those old things, those old traumas that need to be healed and released, that need to be integrated, that need to be loved about ourself and humanity, the acceptance that needs to occur, that can be very shadowy, very challenging. It can feel really dark. But if we have our third eye open and we can look at that stuff and know what's happening, know that it's being transmuted, know that it's being purified, know that it's being taken to the next level, then that's much more comforting. Not to say that we don't have to cry, that we won't have to go through some of the emotions as they come out, because we do. You know, as our chakras are clearing out, we will have to feel and see and re-experience what was in them for a moment. But this is where the initiations come in. Because how long this process is going to take is entirely up to your perspective on it. The more attached you remain to the old reality and the way things were with the closed chakras and those old hard encrusted belief systems, the more challenging it's going to be to allow this life force in. So if we can allow it in and we can be a witness, be the observer mind, and see the things that are being purified and watch them with humility, with compassion for ourselves. Try not to judge or beat ourselves up because we're feeling these things. Like, everyone's got them stored inside somewhere. So as they're being cleared out, the more that we can love that about ourselves and honor that and nurture ourselves, take ourselves in nature, take baths, you know, get away from the hustle bustle for a minute, nap, sleep. You know, sometimes during this process it can be very harrowing. And it's not necessary that we keep pushing ourselves so hard. In fact, life will reward us if we will relax, if we will have fun, if we will enjoy. You'll see, like, life has got your resume. The universe knows what you can do, and you'll find yourself being called into more aligned action. Easy things for you to do as you clear out these old structures. So again, like, as Kundalini becomes more and more fluid in your body and you're clearing out each of these psychic centers, this polarity is happening. Ida, Pingala, those are the two psychic channels that are positive and negative in their charge. They're being purified, but the goal is to unite them, like Hatha Yoga. Ha and Tha refers to the sun and the moon, the two psychic channels, and unifying them, bringing them together so that you would come to one eye vision, one consciousness, a unified field where you see everything as one. And when that happens, these two poles in the body unite. You no longer are bipolar. Everyone's bipolar until they unite these two charges. Sometimes it can be overly emphasized as we're fluctuating between polarities, as we're going deeply into the judgment and then trying to go back into the love, and then we're going into the paranoia, and then we're going into the trust, and then we're going into the darkness, and then we're going into the light, and then we're going into the self-hatred, and then we're trying to love ourselves. It can feel very frustrating. It can receive a diagnosis that sounds like bipolar, but what's true is we have polarities we're trying to integrate. That's what's true. And we're doing it not only for ourselves, but we're doing it for ancestors. We're doing it for humanity. And the more of us that do it, the easier it is for others who come after us. And some say, oh, that's not fair, they should have to feel it too, but really? I've been doing this for 20-something years. And I'm actually super grateful and honoring of those who are going through this in lightning speed, because I don't think I could have handled going through it that fast. So I'm grateful that I had all this time to accumulate data and really study this thing and mess up a bunch, so that I can assure you and your journey that you're doing it right. You're doing it right. Everything that looks like you're messing up, it's just part of the process. It's part of the cleanse. It's part of the activation. It's part of the opening. And Kundalini eventually will move from being that princess or that prince that was like sensitive and just barely wanting to wake up, to being the king, queen, essence on the throne of your consciousness, master of your own realm, in connection with higher wisdom, at one with all of life, where you can truly lead and soothe and calm and love the others on this journey. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I will continue to break down parts of this journey as much as I am able to as we continue along this series. This is Stasia Bliss, Kundalini Queen. Thank you so much for joining me again today. We'll see you next time.